Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to a new review. Today I have a very different product called the Gole1. When I first got this I was confused. Is this a phone? Is it a tablet? Is it a TV box? Because it looks like all of those things combined. We have a screen, we have speakers, and onto the back we have an HDMI output. So yeah, it looks like a lot of things into one. On top of that we even have a battery inside, so it can run off the battery. So very different. So it can run Windows 10 or Android 5.1. It has 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage. You can get this with 64 and I do recommend buying the version with 64 because 32 gigs it's not enough. And speaking about price, it costs about $120. So it's a very cheap device for everything that we get because you get a lot of things with this. So let's check out the box and see what comes with it, and let's see how this performs. Let's begin. First of all, the box. The box looks different. It looks like a very expensive product for some reason. So we don't really have any information on the box. We just see Gole1, the brand here. So that's about it for the box, just the address for the manufacturer. Now inside the box, we are gonna find an HDMI cable. One of these cables. I'm not sure what you could use this for, but I guess it could be useful in some conditions. And we also get a user manual. Now you're gonna have to read the user manual because it's a bit confusing how to use that at the beginning, but after you get used to it, it's fairly simple. And aside from that, we get a power adapter, and this is the power adapter that we get. Now moving on to the device. So first of all, you're gonna notice that we have a screen on it. It's a 5-inch screen with a resolution of 720p. The viewing angles aren't the best, but yeah, we do get a screen which is quite impressive. We do have some speakers here, they're quite loud. And we have a power button right here. This is like the home button or the Windows key, depending if you have Windows or Android on it. And this is like the volume up or down button. Onto this side here, we can insert a TF card, so an SD card. We have a USB 3 port, a regular USB, a little USB slot. And onto the back here, we have the power adapter port, the network adapter port, another USB slot. That's a reset button right there, the little hole. And yet another USB port. I'm using this for the wireless keyboard, an HDMI output, and a 3.5mm audio jack. And we also have an Wi-Fi antenna, which is very helpful because we need good Wi-Fi. Onto the back, we just have some rubber feet and the model name and whatever RAM you have. So I have the version with 4 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage. So the entire thing is made out of metal, and I have to say that it looks rather cool. So the screen, it's actually a touch screen, so you can actually use this without the keyboard. I'm using the keyboard because it's much easier to use it for Windows. So check this out. Pretty cool, huh? So what I want to do is connect this to the TV so I can record the screen. I'm gonna start up with Windows. I'm gonna show you Windows. We'll do like a benchmark test for Windows. I'll show you the browser and how everything looks. And then we'll switch to Android so I can show you more benchmarks, some gaming tests and so on. Because on Android it's much simpler to find apps and games and so on. Alright, so let me connect this to the TV and we'll go from there. Okay, so I wanted to start with Windows first. Now, the resolution for Windows, the maximum resolution for Windows, it's 720p unfortunately. And since we're talking about resolutions to begin with, this is the graphics card, so the dedicated video memory, it's only about 128 megabytes, so not that much. Now Windows looks just like Windows, the same thing that you're used to. You can go to the Windows Store if you want, and I will even show you some files, how they play onto Windows. So everything seems to go fairly good. I'm connected to the Wi-Fi at the moment, and I'll show the Wi-Fi speeds when we move back to the Android part of this. So if you don't want to see this as a tablet, you can just click onto this button here and then press the tablet mode, and all of a sudden it looks like a regular Windows. So let me open the Internet Explorer here. I'm gonna show you the space that we have available. So I'm gonna click here. So we have only 3.9 gigs left out of the 20 gigs that we have for Windows, so not that much realistically. You could install like a USB stick, a hard drive or anything like that, so you can basically extend this a bit, but you're not gonna have that much space for Windows if you get the version with 32 gigs. So yes, definitely get the version with 64 gigs if you're planning to buy something like this. So let me open Chrome. I have Chrome somewhere here, so right here I'm gonna show you a YouTube video, for example. So it lets you select 4K as the resolution, however it doesn't actually play very good at 4K. So let's open YouTube, and here let me search for my video. We'll search for that Note 7 video. Okay, so at HD here you're gonna see the resolutions available, so I'm gonna leave it at 720p eventually, but I just want to show you the resolution. So it lets you select any of these, but if you select anything past 1080p, it doesn't go very smooth. So let's do it at 720p, and let me maximize this, make it full screen. So at 720p it does go fairly smooth, and it looks really good to be honest, so no issues whatsoever. So yeah, this is how it looks on YouTube at 720p. So I'm gonna exit this, we'll exit that, and I'll close Chrome. So the next thing I wanna show you, I'm gonna connect a USB stick, the one that I have with lots of video files, and I'm gonna show you how some video files work onto this mini PC. Alright, so I have my USB stick right here. We'll double click on it. Let's try this one first. I actually tried it already, and I know it works fairly good. So this is gonna be the Windows Media Player, I believe. And I can even maximize it, and I'm trying to find the place where there's like a lot of movement, so this is much better. And as you can probably tell, it does really good for this particular file. But if you're gonna try something like a 4K file, for example, let me just close this. So let's go back to this. So something like this file, so 4K at 60 frames per second, it's gonna start up, but nothing's gonna happen. So let's try opening this with the VLC player which I installed earlier. So yeah, we just get a black screen basically, so nothing happens. The following one works kind of better, but not really. This is with the Windows Media Player, I believe. So it kind of works, but it is in slow motion. But anything other than that does do fairly good. So you can even install Kodi for Windows. You're just gonna open the browser, basically go to Kodi and just install that. Let me just open the settings here. Maybe there is something that you wanna see for the settings app at Windows here. So let's go back there. So I'm just gonna scroll through these, see if I can find anything that you could find useful. So really not that much that I can possibly show you for Windows. Another thing I want to show you, it's a Geekbench test. So I installed Geekbench 4, and this is gonna be, let me just run this, and this is gonna be the score that we get on the Geekbench 4 for Windows on this particular device. And just before I start the test, here we can see the RAM available. So 4 gigs, the processor, which is the Intel Atom X5, and the operating system, which is Windows 10. So this is what we get on the Geekbench 4. So multi-core score of about 2000, a single core score of 842, and actually it's not bad at all. I'm trying to scroll down here so you can see some details about the processor and stuff. So yeah, these are the results. I'm gonna try another benchmark tests, and we'll see how that one goes as well. And these are the results that I was able to get to the Nova bench. So this is basically how Windows will work onto this mini PC. I mean, for watching YouTube videos and like installing Word or anything like that is gonna do very good. I haven't had any issues with it crashing, not even once. So I'm very happy to see that Windows does work fairly good on it. Now, if you wanna switch to the Android operating system, so if you're in tablet mode, you're gonna have to turn off this tablet mode. So I'm just showing you how to do that right now. So turn off the tablet mode, and then you're gonna be onto this screen, and you're gonna click onto this twice, and whenever you press yes, it will switch to the Android side. So this is how you switch in between Windows and Android. Okay, so on Android here, first of all, we have the navigation bar here, but the navigation bar is sitting on the right hand side of the screen, and there is no way of actually hiding it no matter what you do. So we are always gonna have the navigation bar. Let me show you what apps come pre-installed. So I installed a whole bunch of these, but we have this one that comes pre-installed. What else? This terminal one right here, the MX Player. Kodi I actually installed from the Play Store. So we don't really have that many things pre-installed. We basically have the Play Store, and that's about it. So you install everything yourself. Okay, so let me show you the settings app, because the settings app, it's a little different than normal. So here it's the Wi-Fi, so very straightforward, normal. And since we're here, let me show you the speeds on the two Wi-Fi networks, so the dual band and through a wired connection. So through a wired connection, we get a download speed of about 72. On the 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi network, we get 12 for download, and this is on the 5 GHz Wi-Fi network. So the speeds on Wi-Fi are okay, but nothing spectacular. And you may have some trouble watching different things connected to the Wi-Fi. So I do recommend using this with a wired internet connection. And we are back to the settings app. At display here, we don't really have that many options. But then we have another settings here, the HDMI settings. So here you can select the resolution. So at this time it's 1080p. So when you're using this box for Android, you can select 1080p, but for Windows it's only 720p. So again, here you can just zoom in, zoom out the screen, so basic stuff. Sounds and notification, very straightforward. The storage, you're gonna see how much space we have available. So the total space available, it's about 4.8 gigs. I do have a lot of stuff pre-installed, so yeah, not that much space on Android. And since this is running Android 5.1, even though you can insert an SD card, you cannot make that SD card into internal memory. So realistically, that's all the space that you're gonna have left, so not that much. So definitely buy the one with the 64 gig of internal storage. And back to the settings app. Here I'm just gonna show you the languages that are available, as most of these Android devices from China, a lot of languages available, and I just changed the language. Let me try to find English one more time. So I'm just gonna scroll through them, and then we'll change it back to English. So as you're probably expecting, a lot of languages. So let me just change the language back to English, because otherwise we'll never find it again. So I believe it's this one. Okay, so back to English, and scrolling all the way to the bottom here, about tablet, we're gonna see the model number, which is Gole1 and Android version 5.1. You're probably noticing this Intel Smart Video. You don't really have any options. You can just turn it on or off, but I didn't actually see any difference with it on or off. On the Antutu benchmark, we get an awesome score of about 54,000, and at info here we can basically see everything that we already know. So the processor, the RAM, even though this is the resolution shown, we actually have 1080p. So this is the RAM right here, and that's about it. So a very good score on the Antutu benchmark. And on the Geekbench 4 we get a multi-core score of about 2000 and a single core score of 882. Down here again we can see some system information, and if I scroll down, some more information about the test itself. These are the speeds that I got for the internal memory and the RAM, but the speeds for the internal memory, I don't know, they just don't seem real for some reason. Okay, so you can easily install Kodi from the Play Store, and this is how Kodi looks from the Play Store. I'm gonna go to System Info, and here you can see some information. So we have a lot of RAM available this time, so no issues with the RAM onto this. So let me just play a random stream. I just installed an add-on. Let's see if we can get it working. So it's this one right here. So let's see if we find something that works. Let's try this one, for example, and see how fast it starts up and if it actually works. It may not, but we'll see in just a second. I'm just trying to get anything going, and like right away it started, so really good. So Kodi will go absolutely awesome onto this mini PC because we have so much RAM, and the processor, it's rather powerful for a TV box. Okay, so that's about it for Kodi, but since we are here, let's see those files that I have on my USB stick and see how well they actually do. So I'm moving backwards towards the USB stick, and I believe it's this one. So let me... Okay, so the first file that we're gonna try is this one. I'm 100% sure that it will work because it worked fine on Windows. So yeah, no issues with this one whatsoever. So we'll stop this one. Let's move to the more exciting one. So let's move to those 4K files. I'm curious to see if they'll actually work. I highly doubt it, but let's click on this one and see what happens. Oh no, nothing is happening. So I guess we can't play those files. Okay, so let's try the next one. I do have the MX player installed as well, so I'm gonna try to get them going on the MX player. So I can get that one going either. Let's move to this one. This is the 720p one. This one I don't see why it wouldn't work. So this one it's doing okay. This one should be okay as well. And yeah, as I said before, this one is doing fine. Let's check this one, and I'm pretty sure this one it's also fine. I like how fast they start. Well, the files that work, as soon as you click on them, they start right away. And this is actually a 4K file that I filmed with my phone, and as you can probably tell, it goes really good. So yeah, it's unfortunate that the other two files aren't going. This one, it's not gonna work on Kodi. We'll try this one with the MX player. So I was pretty sure that it's not gonna work. So that's how Kodi works onto this mini PC, as they call it. So let's exit Kodi, and with this we're gonna see how fast Kodi exits, and it was really quick. So just before we end, let me just open that MX player, and we'll try those files again, just out of curiosity. So let's go to settings here quickly. So decoder, so it's gonna be using... Okay, let's try all of them, see what happens if we try all of them. Maybe we can get those files to work, those 4K files. So this is the USB stick, and this is the first one. Let's see if we can get it going. And the same black screen, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't think we'll be able to get those files going, unfortunately. So no. But yeah, everything seems to go very smooth. Even YouTube will do absolutely fine with no issues. So let me just open my own video here, for example. after we skip the ad, of course. Gotta love the ads. Okay, so we'll skip the ad. Let's go to quality, and the maximum quality that we're gonna be able to see is 720p, but let's see how well the file does. So the video does seem to go fairly smooth. So, well, maybe it's not the absolute smoothest. I think I've seen better, but it does seem to do okay. I do have FIFA 16, so I want to play a bit of FIFA 16, so I will do a bit of FIFA 16 and then we'll end the video. Okay, and I have FIFA going, and very unexpected, it goes super extra slow. So everything it's in like slow motion, and I have no idea why. I was not expecting this. Like, I thought that all the games are gonna go absolutely amazing. So yeah, gaming may not be the absolute best on the Gole 1. So I guess it's rather pointless to keep trying any further, because it's gonna go like this. So yeah, definitely gaming may not be the best onto this particular TV box. And I opened the CPUs tab. I just wanted to see if we can find the temperature for the processor. So not overly hot. So I think pretty decent. Another information that we may have here, it's this. Again, the screen resolution shows it as 720p, but you will see that even my HD recorder, the one that records the screen, actually recorded at 1080p. So that's about it. So overall, I think it's a rather good box. I mean, you do get both worlds. You get Android 5.1 with the Play Store and pretty much anything in the Play Store. You can watch videos except for 4K files, but realistically there aren't that many 4K files available. Unfortunately, games don't seem to do that well, but kodi works really good, and overall I think it's good because you get both worlds. You get Windows, so if you need to use Word, for example, and you can use that. So we do get a lot of value from this. Now, I'm not sure about the screen, because the screen onto the TV box, or whatever you want to call this, mini PC, stays on all the time. So I wish there would be a way of actually turning off just the screen from this and leaving just the TV on, but I couldn't find a way. So overall, I think it's really worth the 120 bucks or less, how much it costs right now, and overall I think it's a rather interesting device that we haven't actually seen anywhere else before. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.